Because I
Yeah,
just
I mean,
covered
and
it, like saying, talking
it's
about your reel,
no,
but
no, but it's so amazing because, like, okay, we went, I now have totally rethought breakfast, right? My daughter doesn't like eggs. It just is the way it is. And that's a great source of protein, right? But she doesn't like it. I can hide it in oatmeal, which is what that reel was about. But I
yeah,
just decided, why do we have to eat a normal breakfast? So, in Thailand, they eat prawns for breakfast and pork with
yeah,
rice, with a nice chicken broth. She loves that. So sometimes she has prawns with with
yeah,
with broth for breakfast. We do
love it.
chicken, we do salmon. I mean, I do protein in and it's stuff she likes.
Yeah,
It's rethinking how we do breakfast, and other
yes,
countries do breakfast really differently. Why can't we do breakfast really
yeah,
differently? And I say to her, I said, what do you, I say, and now she's learning to cook breakfast, so,
love
because
it.
we wake up really early in my house. I wake up to write my book at like 5, and she wakes up because she likes to have her downtime. She's like, she was eating a lot of junky food in the morning when she got up.
Yeah,
If there's anything junky, unless I put a lock and key under it, she will find it. She's very good at that. So I'm like,
yeah,
she's like, well, I said, what about if we have breakfast first thing in the morning? She's like, great. And then I was like, oh, I'm making breakfast for her. I'm not doing my writing. And she's like, I'm like, what about if I
yeah,
teach you how to make breakfast? And so I'm like, okay, we
love
have
that.
to think of a protein. What kind of proteins are there? Okay, we've got chicken in the fridge. We've got salmon in the fridge. You could cook some bacon. We could do peanut butter. She likes to make peanut butter sandwiches with jam and then shredded cheese on top. So, she's now starting to, and some mornings she's going to be like, Mommy, I'm too tired. You do it for me. And I'll do it. But, we're starting to, and her thinking, okay, this is what's going to fuel my brain for the day because my body's low in dopamine. And it needs the precursor. She's on ADHD medication, which is going to make more dopamine. Well, it needs that protein to build that up. So it's part of, and her understanding that. She's also like your daughter. She's 13, going on 14 this summer. It's teaching them because eventually, she's hopefully going to get to a point where she's making the right decisions for herself. We're not
And
we're not
that's all
there
we
yet.
can do. Yeah, but that's all we can do is just keep giving them the tools so they can make these decisions when the time comes. It's all we can do, isn't it? And every child is so different. I
And
know
not
that with,
forcing them, and not forcing, like, okay,
yeah,
eat your eggs, you've got to eat your eggs. No, figure out what they like that is healthy that they can then eat make. I make
absolutely
flapjacks with like so many different things in them, pumpkin
amazing.
seeds, chia seeds, walnuts, all, and she likes the way they taste. So it's finding what your child likes and then also
Yeah,
helping them on that journey to understand it. And it does
absolutely.
make
And
a
it's,
difference. I mean, it really does during the
yeah,
day. I don't know about you. I feel so different than what
yeah.
we were eating, cereals or, you know
Oh God. And we're fed this stuff. Not that I want to make this some sort of like medical political podcast, but I'm happy to happy to talk about how unethical it is that the marketing, we're absolutely lambasted wherever we go with marketing of processed food. And it's really hard for us as parents when we know better and we're thinking, no, I don't want my kids to be eating Cocoa Pops in the morning. I want them to be eating a clean breakfast to give them a good start in the day. It's not just about their brains, and being able to function, but being able to make those good choices. And I know I've got with, ADHD in particular, huge impulse control difficulties,
Yeah.
particularly when it comes from food, because my dopamine comes from that sugar. And I don't want to feed that to them. I think as a child of the 80s, it was all about the snap, crackle, and pop effect. It was everything in your face and wow, this looks incredible, and feel that hit as it rushes through your system. It's a drug. And so being able to give this education to our children is so important, but it is hard because you're fighting the system every step of the way, aren't you?
And honestly, like, I've had to remove it from the house because
Mhm.
there is, and not like always, I have some and I've got to keep hiding where I put them, but she can have some stuff, but it's limited. But if I leave it out in the cupboard,